So, good morning, everybody. I see we're coming on into today's program. As you can see on the screen, it is a story time program. So, we're going to get started at 11:30. Um, so, while we're waiting, friends, you can go ahead and in the chat, like I see some of us doing already, just say hello and let us know where you're joining us from. Okay, so hi, Sumi. Oh, hi T. I see we have some friends joining us in the chat already. So hello. Hi Kayla. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. So friends, if you're just popping into today's program, welcome first of all. We're going to get started at 11:30. So while we're waiting for more of our friends to join us, go ahead and in the chat box just let us know where you're joining us from. Okay? This way we can say good morning, okay, and get started at 11:30. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the music back up. Hi, Livy from New Jersey. Good morning. Thanks, Lisa. Hi, Frankie. Frankie from Metuchen. Thank you so much joining for us. Thank you so much for joining us, Frankie. Thank you, Wanda. Hi, friends. Good morning. Through through Lashi. Thank you from Bridgewater. I hope I said that okay. Thank you, Sumi. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. So, if you're joining us right and you're just coming in now, we're going to get started in a couple minutes. But while we're waiting, everybody, you can just go ahead and in the chat box let us know where you're joining us from. Okay? All right, I see we have some questions already. So, I'm going to go ahead and turn the music back down just to make sure I can answer those questions. Okay? So, let's take a look. Um, Hi Partik from New Jersey. So this program is for our friends that are from preschool to second grade. So this is our Monday morning program for our youngest learners. So the program is designed for our friends that are from preschool to second grade particularly. Okay? Hi Rocco, good morning. Thank you, Angeline. Nice to see our friends from homeschool programming back at the Science Center are joining us. So thank you, Rocco. Thank you, Angeline, for joining us. We're really glad to connect with you all. I see a lot of our friends are joining us from all over. I see we have some friends from Texas. That's really cool. I see Paris and Selena from Georgia. Hello, Paris and Selena. Hi, Arnav. Malaya. Malaya. Yeah. Thank you very much from Maryland. Hi, our friends. Thank you so much. I see Ren from Vermont, Andrew from Rutherford, Cole and Clint from Minnesota. That's really cool. Oh, I see some of our friends are very excited for story time. That's really cool. I'm glad you're so excited, friends. So, if you're just coming in, we're still saying good morning, so you didn't miss anything. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. We're just saying good morning and letting us know where you're joining us from. So if you are just entering our story time program for this Monday morning, first of all, welcome. Second, we would love to hear where you're joining us from. Okay, so I see some of our friends are still answering that, sharing where they're joining us from. So Lucas and Nathan from Montclair. I see Vivian is from Staten Island. Hi, Vivian. Hi, Peggy. I see a lot of our friends are returning, so it's great to have you back. I see Nicholas and Matthew. Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us, Nicholas and Matthew, and Daniel from Maryland. Hi, Lizzie from PA. Oh, hi, Frankie. Hi, Moosey. Good morning. Moosey and Frankie are some of our good friends that have been joining us for previous science camps, so that's really great to have them back and have so many friends back that we know from the Science Center, so that's amazing. Awesome. Hi, AJ from New Jersey and Lily from Blairstown. That's really cool. All right. Oh, Thank you very much. I see some of our friends are, this is their very first time, so that's really cool. We're really glad to have you. All right, so everybody, it is 11:31. We're going to go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the screen you're seeing. So right now you're seeing our intro slate, what we call our intro slate, right? It's just to show you that it is our story time. But I'm going to switch it to a different screen so you can see myself and we can talk through what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. All right, hi everybody. Good morning. Happy Monday. We're really glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. So a couple of things before we get started. My name is Mr. Kengo. If this is your very first time, we're really glad you're here. If you have been tuning in on Monday mornings, welcome back. This program is for our youngest audience members here at the Science Center from preschool or younger to second grade. Okay, and like you saw in the intro, this is going to be a story time. So we're going to be reading a book today. Now, that book is going to be this one. Okay, but before we talk about what we're going to do for our storybook, right, I did want to kind of share a couple of brief things to talk about before we go into our program. So at any time, if you see me looking this way, right, and some of our friends that are returning might know this already, but for our friends who's this their very first time, this is really important just to make sure they're aware too, right? So friends, if you see me looking this way, that's just for me to check the chat coming in live through Facebook, because I want to make sure if you have any questions, I'm doing my best to see those questions and answer those questions as best I can, right? So that's just the way also I've been able to see you saying good morning and saying hi and letting us know where you're joining us from. So if you said hi or if you said good morning or you wanted a shout out, right? I apologize if I didn't see your name. I want to make sure that I do acknowledge, first of all, that I'm really glad you're here. Okay, regardless of whether I said hi live on Facebook, I'm really glad you're joining us. Second, today is a little bit of a difference between what we've been doing a past couple of times, right? During this portion, I usually mention how we, as a nonprofit organization, Liberty Science Center, welcomes and is really thankful for everybody who donates to the Science Center during this time, right? Especially since we are closed to the public at the moment, doing programs live on Facebook here as well as through other platforms to connect with students and families around New Jersey and outward is really important to our mission and what I love to do. So, what we have going on today is a little bit of a unique situation or something new, right? If you go to Facebook, you're going to see a donate button. You should see a donate button if I did it correctly. If you, at any portion of today's program, if you feel like you would like to contribute and are able to contribute, you can go ahead and click on that donate button and donate whatever you can. As a nonprofit organization, we welcome and I'm really thankful for any kind of donation you can make, small or large, it doesn't matter, right? And that helps us do programs like this and so many others that help us reach out to school groups and families and friends just like you around New Jersey. Okay? Okay. So today is a storybook reading day. So we're going to be reading a story. Now that story is this one, right? It is The Eyes, Nose, Fingers, and Toes. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading it together, but if you've ever read a story, right, at school, you usually have someone, or even at home, you usually have someone reading it with you, right? And to make sure our friends are able to see all the pages really well, what we did is instead of holding it up like this, right, I'm going to go ahead and put a picture of each page or pages at a time on the screen in front of you, sort of like what you're seeing right now. Okay, this way you can see the pages and you can see the words really, really well. All right, I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and switch what you're seeing so that you can see that now. And it's going to look kind of like this. Okay, so this is our story, right? And again, it's called Eyes, Nose, Fingers, and Toes. Now, if in school or at home, if you're a homeschool friend, right, one of the big things around reading and literacy is identifying and understanding what an author is, as well as an illustrator. So the author for this book is Judy Hindley. I hope I said her last name right. And the illustrator is Brita Grandstone. Now, the author, friends, is someone who writes the words. So if you're looking at a storybook or reading a storybook, the author is the person or persons who wrote the words within the book you're reading. Okay? The illustrator is the person who makes the pictures. Now, those can be drawn pictures, sort of like what you're seeing on your screen right now, but it also can be paintings that go into books too, like some of the previous ones that we've read live here on Facebook, like Water Dance, if you can remember back to that story, right? Now, what is the concept we're going to be talking about today, and why did we choose this story? Well, I really like this story because one of the big things it talks about is the idea of our senses, right? So you might already know a lot about our senses and what our five senses are. So you should see a big question right on the screen right in front of you. So what I'd like you to do now is, if you are able and you feel comfortable, go ahead and in the chat in our Facebook stream, go ahead and share what senses you already know about. Okay? So some of our friends might be getting used to typing, right? Or might be not so familiar with typing. So if you are struggling with typing or just learning how to type, that's okay. You can totally just listen and follow along from home. Okay, but if you feel comfortable typing into the Facebook stream, right, into our chat box, go ahead and share the senses that you already know about. Now I'm going to go ahead and look this way just so I can see some of your comments coming in live on Facebook. So let's take a look. Yeah, so I see AJ said taste. Yeah, so taste is totally one of our five senses, right? And actually, that is our first one, right? So AJ, you are totally right. Taste is absolutely one of our five senses, and I love it, right? Hearing, I see Sarah said hearing, right? I see Rebecca said hearing too. Next comes, hearing is definitely one of them. Also, besides hearing and taste, is touch, right? Right? And then we have our hearing, our sense of hearing, and our sense of sight, right? That helps me see our computer screen and you see me, right? And there is our sense of smell, right? And here are our five senses. So this storybook is a great book to talk about and practice identifying these five senses that we use every single day, right? Now, let's get started with our story, right? And during the story, you might be able to notice some of the places where we're using these five senses, okay? Okay, so here's our storybook again. I'm going to switch what you should be seeing on your screen to make my picture a little bit larger. This way you can see me a little bit more closely. Okay, so there we go. Now, our book again is eyes, nose, fingers, and toes. So eyes are to blink, eyes are to wink, eyes are for looking and finding you. Eyes are to shut when you're asleep. Eyes are for hiding. Peekaboo. So this is a great book for practicing right reading, right? So if you're reading from home, right, or you're practicing reading, this might be a great book to look into. A nose is to blow, a nose is to sniff. A nose has holes for sniffling with. We can see it's rhyming too. Ears are to find at the sides of your head. Are you wearing your ears today? Hooray! Ears are to hear a story with. A mouth is to yawn open wide. See all the teeth and the tongue inside? You can see the tongue, right? And there are the teeth. A mouth is to laugh, ha 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 ha. A tongue is to talk and sing, la 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 la. Lips are to make very small for a kiss. Lips are to whistle and blow. Oh, I don't play any instruments. I wonder, friends, if you play any instruments, right? And you have to make that motion with your lips too, right? Maybe a wind instrument like a clarinet or a flute. Lips are to stretch very wide for a smile and round when your mouth goes ho ho ho. Feel how it makes your belly go when you laugh. Ha ha hee hee ho ho. This part makes me laugh. What about necks? A neck is to tickle. What about your shoulders? Those are to wriggle. A back is to stretch so high and tall. A back is to curl up and snug and small. Or a back is to curl up snug and small. Arms go up, arms go down, arms go reaching way out wide. Arms can rock you side to side. Hands are to hold and pat and clap. Hands are to hide behind your back. Fingers and thumbs are for counting on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's find some toes and count up those. And then let's wiggle and waggle each one. Legs are for leaping and jumping and dancing. Legs are for kicking and skipping and hopping. Feet are for stomping and suddenly stopping. Those are some pretty cool shoes. Okay, keep going, Mr. Kengo. Knees are to bend, so let's all sit down. Bump on our bottoms side by side. So here we are, and I'll tell you again. Kisses are little. Smiles are wide. A hug is a bundle with you inside. Oh, that's a nice book. The end. So that was a really quick book, right? But it talks a lot about some of the senses, right, that we might know about. So I definitely saw our sense of sight, right, that we're using to read the book, but also our sense of touch, right? Our sense of hearing when we're laughing, we're hearing ourselves laugh and we're hearing our friends laugh, okay? But that was a really short book. So what I thought we can do today is do a small experiment. Now to practice using our senses. Now if you don't have the materials that we're about to talk about, right, with you at home, that's totally okay. This, as well as all of our other programs that we've been doing here on Monday mornings, but also the programs we've been doing on other days during the week, are recorded and saved here live on Facebook, on our LSC Facebook page. But they're also saved on our LSC in the House page, okay, which we'll mention later. But let me go ahead and show you the materials that you're going to need. Right? So for this experiment, what you're going to need is these materials right here. So you're going to need a little bit of water, right? You're going to need a tablet of Alka-Seltzer, some red food coloring or any food coloring you want. Okay, I just chose red because I wanted to make a lava lamp. Right, and this experiment kind of looks like a lava lamp. But you're also going to want to try and grab some vegetable oil. And we'll talk about why vegetable oil and water in a little bit. All right, but when you put these things together, you're going to end up with something quite like what you're seeing on your screen to the right hand side, right? It kind of reminds me of a lava lamp. Now this is a finished product. What I'm going to go ahead and do, friends, is I'm going to switch my screen, right, or your screen, to show you sort of like what you saw before, where it's just me, right? And this way I'm going to walk you through the experiment and how to do it from home. Okay, but again, if you don't have the materials in front of you, friends, that's totally okay. You can grab the materials later, right, or try again on a later time, which works well for you and your family and your friends if you're doing it together with someone. Okay, but let me go ahead and show you how you can do this experiment from home so that when you do have those materials, if you don't have them right now, you still know what to do and how to do it. All right? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch it to this screen. So hi everybody, you should be seeing this screen right now, right? And this way you can see each of the materials as I'm putting them into our cup, right? So you're gonna need some kind of cup, right? And in this case I used a plastic cup, right? But you can also use any kind of clear cup that you might have around the house, like a plastic 6-ounce or 8-ounce cup, right? That you might just have an extra for, right? But you want to make sure, friends, just like any different science experiment you do at home or at the science center or at school, right? You are using your materials safely and you're choosing materials that you and your family or your teacher are okay with you using. Okay, so first thing you're going to need is a cup. Next, you're going to want to grab some water. So here is my water. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and uncap it. And what I want to try and look for, friends, is to fill my cup about halfway. Okay, that's about halfway. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? You can just fill it up as best you can to about halfway. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So you can see, right? And I think that's about, maybe that's more than halfway, but that's okay. That's okay, Mr. Kengo. Yeah, so I think that works. Okay, so you have your cup of water. Next, you're going to want to add your vegetable oil. So this is vegetable oil that Mr. Kingo got from ShopRite. So you don't need very fancy vegetable oil, right? It just needs to be vegetable oil. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and pour it right on top. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pour it right on top. And I want you to look really closely at the cup and see what happens to it. All right, and maybe if you did this experiment before, you know what's going to happen to the vegetable oil. But if you don't, you can go ahead and take a look closely at the cup. So let me bring it closer to you. There we go. That might work better. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it right in, and I want you to think about what you're seeing happen, right? And I'm going to fill it up to the tippy top, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put this aside so I don't spill it, right? Just be careful, right? Which is one thing that I love doing when I'm doing experiments, right? To make sure my area is clean and put things aside if I'm not using it. So I'm going to move it over this way just a little bit. Now I'm going to check in the Facebook Live chat to see if anyone has any questions. Okay? But also you can feel free to add some comments. All right? All right. So one of the things I'm noticing, right, is that our water and our vegetable oil separated, right? And that's really cool. what you're going to want to add next is some kind of food coloring, right? And we'll talk about why these separated, right? In the beginning, they were all kind of mixing together, right? But now that they've gotten time to settle and relax, they kind of separated, right? Next, I'm going to add some food coloring. Now, I'm using red because I wanted to make it look like a lava lamp, right? But you can choose any color you want. You can use purple or blue or green, right? Yeah, so I see some of our friends wrote, why only red? It can be any color. It can be blue or red or green, or you can use multiple colors, right? For my experiment, I just wanted to use red, okay? But you can use any one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and when you do this experiment at home, you're just going to go ahead and put it right on top of your vegetable oil, okay? And what you're going to see, and I'm noticing, is that our food coloring is kind of staying together in these little spheres, right? It's really interesting. Cool. And as it goes to the bottom, you're going to notice that color starts mixing with the water. Okay. Now the last thing that you're going to do with this experiment, friends, is you're going to go ahead and add your Alka-Seltzer. Okay. So here you want to try, and I'm going to add 1 full tablet. Okay, but you can add a half a tablet if you want. You can add 1 full tablet if you want, but make sure you're talking with your family, right, about how to do this experiment just so you can be safe and you can make sure that they know what you're doing, right? So here's the Alka-Seltzer that I used, and I got it at the same place I got my vegetable oil. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add it in, and we're going to see what happens. Now, I know you might not be able to tell from home, but I'm hearing sizzling, right? I'm using my senses and I'm hearing sizzling. I'm also using my sense of sight and I'm seeing bubbling, right? I'm seeing bubbles come from the bottom where my Alka-Seltzer now is, right? And it's reaching through the vegetable oil and it's rising, right? Let me see if I smell anything. No, I don't smell anything. But I can definitely use my sense of sight and my sense of hearing for this experiment too. And I used my sense of touch, right, when I was touching all my materials like my Alka-Seltzer especially. Right, for this experiment, I'm not going to use my sense of taste, right, because I don't want to taste these things. Right? And in science, you usually don't want to use your sense of taste unless you're specifically said that it's okay to use your sense of taste. Okay, but you can definitely see a whole lot of things happening inside my lava lamp, right? And this is what I like to think about a lava lamp. It kind of looks like lava. It's rising and then falling and bubbling, right? So it's a simple experiment that you can try at home to, one, practice your your senses, like your sense of sight and your sense of hearing, but also talk about what's happening, right? So let's talk about what's happening. First, I'm going to go ahead and push this aside and switch what you're seeing on your screen right now back to our PowerPoint so we can talk a little bit about what we noticed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, so we're back to this screen. So what's happening? Right? What's happening in our experiment? So this is a picture of the experiment that we just saw, and I did it previously, and I just took a really close-up picture of our lava lamp. Right? So in the chat box, you can feel free to post some of the things that you noticed at home if you are doing this experiment, right? Or even if you were just watching along from home, you can feel free to post your thoughts and your comments, right? And your ideas of what was happening. But some of the things that I was noticing is, one, that our Alka-Seltzer was reaching the bottom of our cup and reaching the water, and then it was starting to break down, right? So there was what we like to call a chemical reaction, right? The Alka-Seltzer was reaching the water, and then it was reacting with the water, and it was creating bubbles. Those bubbles were carbon dioxide, the stuff we breathe out when we breathe out, right? So that was happening. But also, we noticed that the vegetable oil, and the water weren't mixing together, right? So I hope you noticed that too. And we probably noticed that at the very beginning, before we added our food coloring and before we added our Alka-Seltzer, right? The two things, the two liquids weren't mixing. And that's because, friends, these two liquids have different densities. Now, you don't have to worry about density right until you get much older, but it's still really important and really cool to talk about and think about. So density, friends, when we're talking about matter, matter is anything and everything around us, right? Mr. Kengo's mouse is matter, right? My sweater is matter, my headphones are matter, the liquid in my water bottle is matter, right? And the air I'm breathing is matter, right? And the air you're breathing is matter, right? All of these different states of matter or kinds of matter are made up of stuff. Now, when it comes to density, matter has different amounts of stuff inside of them. Okay, if they're more dense, they have more stuff packed inside of them. If they're less dense, they have less packed stuff inside of them. In this case, water is more dense than vegetable oil. So since vegetable oil is less dense, it rises and floats right on top, and water, since it's more dense, it falls down to the bottom, right? And the two of them don't separate, right? Now there's a lot of other things happening too that contribute to how these two liquids don't mix, right? But that's one of the big important ideas, right? As you get older, you might learn about lots of different things that are also going on and contributing as well, right? That are really cool and interesting. But the big idea that I like to think about with this experiment is these two liquids have different densities. Now, on the screen, you're going to see there's a little prompt to see what you think would happen if we chose to add some soap, okay, to our experiment. So if you added some soap into your cup where there's water and vegetable oil, what do you think would happen? Would they separate like they have been? If I put them into a bottle, right, and I filled up my bottle halfway with water and halfway with vegetable oil, and then added a little soap and I shook it like this, would they separate like we just did before? Or would something about the soap cause it to mix more thoroughly, right, and not stay separated, right? If it does, why is that, how does that soap do that, right? Why does the soap do that, right? These are some really cool things to think about, but also different experiments you can try over the summer or right now, right, to keep talking about and learning about science. Okay? All right. So friends, that's the end of our program today, friends, but I do want to mention a couple of things, right? So if you're choosing, right, to go about your rest of your day, right, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I do want to take a moment, friends, and let you know that today is the final session for me to do live programming with you. Okay, so this is our final live program with me here joining you on Monday mornings. I know I'm going to miss you guys. Thank you so much for joining us and having such a great presence with us here live on Facebook. To be honest, doing programming live on Facebook was quite nerve-wracking for me. It made me very nervous, right? I've been teaching a long time, but doing programming here live on Facebook is really, really new. So I really wanted to take a moment to say thank you to everybody for being such a kind and generous audience. I hope you've been enjoying these programs. I hope you've really been having fun with what we've been trying to do live on Facebook here on Monday mornings. But first, I want to thank you all for joining us and let you all know that I really look forward to seeing you all at the Science Center very, very soon when we do have the opportunity to reopen. If you're going to be tuning in right next week, you're still going to see a program here live on Monday, right? And that program is going to be a planetarium program for our youngest audience members. So if you ever have been joining us here on Facebook on Thursdays, you may have seen Mr. Andrew. Mr. Andrew is going to be joining us or he's going to be hosting next Monday's program, and he'll be doing a planetarium show specifically for this audience, for our pre-K to second grade group friends. Okay, so if you're available and you're interested and you want to keep having programming like this, there will be one more next Monday that Mr. Andrew will be hosting. Okay, but after that, friends, we're going to be switching gears and putting a lot of energy towards reopening our building and planning for the summer and getting ready for the school year. Okay, but I wanted to take a moment to say thank you and that I will miss you guys and that I hope to see you all during some point in the coming year at the Science Center. So thank you once again, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day and a wonderful week. I'm going to go ahead and see if there's any questions before I officially end today's program. But if you're heading out to go enjoy the rest of your day, friends, have a wonderful day and have a wonderful week. And thank you so much for joining us. Okay? All right. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much to everybody saying thank you. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna miss you guys too. I'm seeing a lot of kind thoughts coming in the chat, so thank you, everybody. So let's see. All right. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions, everybody, so thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead and enjoy the summertime. All right? All right, take care. Bye.